All right. Okay. So we both gotta. Okay, you gotta share this footage with me. Cause I have this. I have my phone here.
Yes, I'm gonna share everything with you. This was your idea.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah, we're professionals.
Yeah, can't you tell? Can't you tell? Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. How are you all doing?
Hola.
This is a collab video with Global Gyal and
Ariventuras.
Hey,
Hola.
hola, sí, yes. We're in Medellin and we're doing a video on questions that you may have about moving or traveling to Colombia.
Yes, Medellin Colombia.
Yes. We're both based in and have a lot of experience in Medellin, but we'll try to answer what questions that we know are quite common that we get from people who follow our journeys. And just to give you a little background, I mean, I'm Global Gyal, a Caribbean girl who travels the world. I have been living in Colombia for 9 months now, and this was my first time coming here. And Ariana?
I have been here off and on for like 2 years now, I think. I lose track of time because what is time when you live in such a beautiful place now?
Amen.
But yeah, I've been here off and on for about 2 years, and I have the digital nomad visa, so I'll be here for a couple more, at least another year.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just a little snippet about your channel.
Oh yes, my channel is Ariventuras. Be sure to check it out. I share a lot of my travel experience as a Black woman and as a solo traveler. So
Yes.
check it out.
Okay, so then should we jump right in? So I got a couple of questions, and this video was inspired by, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, I'm so sorry if not, Herline and Everblooming1_ on Instagram. You can follow her. But she was asking me a lot of great questions, and I was like, you know what? I should do a video. And Ariana does these amazing tips as well. So we're going to start with some questions that she sent, and then some other questions that Ariana has as well from people who've asked her. And yeah, kind of go from there.
Sounds good. Let's do
All
it.
right, perfect. First question, and you know what? We can go back and forth. I'll hand the phone.
Yeah.
How would you describe your sense of safety in Colombia?
Okay, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
You want me to go first?
Yes, you go first. I'm like, what do I say? No, I'm nervous a little bit.
I do think knowing Spanish plays a difference in how safe you might feel. I think generally, though, as a Black woman, always speaking from my perspective, because those are the only shoes I've been in, I feel fairly safe. I feel like if I need to, I can blend in. A lot of times I'll get mistaken for being Colombian. Again, I think the Spanish has something to do with
yeah.
it. But if you can get by with, the basics, until they, like, at first, unless you open your mouth and, like, try to say something, usually they'll just assume off the bat that you're Colombian if you're Black out here. And I feel like the men are nice. Like, the women are, I mean, people in general are nice, but like men especially are very nice to us. So that helps too. And like walking around at night, it depends on what areas you stay in. That does play a factor as well. But in the more touristy areas like Poblado or Laureles, I generally feel safe walking around at nighttime by myself. Usually other people are out, and it's pretty, pretty populated, and you feel safe. There's street lights and things like that. So
Yeah.
I would say safe.
And then, even before you ever came here, were you ever scared or worried about your safety? Or
Yeah, the thought crossed my mind just because of all the YouTube videos that you see of people getting robbed and being mugged. But more often than not, those people are in situations or places that you shouldn't necessarily associate with safety.
venture to? Why you be there?
Why were you there? What about you?
Yeah, for me, so I do not know Spanish. However, after living here, it took me about a month to really adjust and really get out of my head. So I will say, before I came, I knew I was gonna move and nothing was gonna stop me from moving. Other people were telling me, oh, be careful of Colombia, it's so dangerous, you shouldn't visit, But the people who actually came and visited Colombia, none of them ever said anything like that. They were just like, it's beautiful. So I tried to wrap my head around that. But when I actually arrived, I guess just being in a new space and everything, I kind of just let those negative comments seep into my head. And so I was like, is it safe enough to go to the grocery store? Can I take an Uber by myself? Y'all, I'm here to say, like, after a month later, I don't know why it even took me so long, but my whole view and perspective and what I had originally or learned to think has completely changed. I do feel completely safe. Or I feel safe as I would in any other major city.
Right.
Coming from a small island, there's a whole other like thing where sometimes you don't even lock your doors. But here's a different story. But in general, I do feel safe. I do feel, as a woman who travels solo, you just have to be aware of your surroundings wherever you go.
Yeah,
but I feel safe walking on the street in the day or night. Again, just like Ariana said, it depends on what neighborhoods. But I won't be, putting myself, or I feel like I wouldn't take those risks and put myself in places and around people that I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So it's just being wary of that. And once you figure out, you can learn, and we will tell you places that you can hang out with, and it'll be completely normal. The most you kind of have to worry about is maybe pickpockets.
Yeah. Your cell phone.
Yeah, your cell phone, stuff like that, which is kind of like that's not unique to Medellin or to Colombia.
It's travel.
Yeah,
being aware of your surroundings.
Exactly. Any major city that you're in. So with regards to safety, yes, I can empathize with people who might be worried about safety, but I don't think that should stop you at all. I don't think you should come in here like, this is like the safest place in the world.
Yeah, don't do that anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that anywhere. But at the same time, don't let that stop you from coming here. Two solo female travelers, and we're saying that we feel safe. Yeah, just be aware of your surroundings.
Well said, well said.
Do it. Sorry, I was jumping ahead. I was reading the full paragraph. Number 2.
Number 2. How is the food? How do you like the food? We're talking Medellin specifically.
Medellin specifically.
Yeah.
Okay. Medellin specifically, I won't lie, I've had to adjust to the food. And I describe it as it's healthy. It's healthy, and that means that when they say salad, you are getting salad. And what is that salad dressing?
Debatable. Salad is the one thing I would not give Colombia.
Okay, maybe that's not
lettuce.
a good...
You get lettuce.
You get lettuce. If you get a salad
and
bowl...
some carrots.
If you get a salad bowl...
Are we talking... So my question was going to be with the food. Are we talking Colombian food or like...
Or
in
food in general?
Food?
I mean...
Because there's a difference.
But we could do both.
Colombian food, I feel like, does not involve an actual salad. Not a salad that I'm not a salad I'm accustomed to.
No.
But it is healthier on the sense of like seasonings and taste wise.
Yes,
she's right.
So if we're doing Colombian food in general is healthier. Mm-hmm. It's to some extent. So let's say the meat, they may not season it with like 5 bajillion things that you're accustomed to food being seasoned with. Yeah. Is it going to be deep fried? Yes, it's going to be deep fried, but it's just the meat and deep frying, and that's it. So you are getting the straight whatever it is that you're eating. So that's how I describe it. It's just it's healthier. So if your palate is used to lots of salt and lots of MSG and Maggi cube and stuff like that, listen, that's not what you're going to get here with Colombian food. But so some might say it doesn't really have much taste and much flavor. I think it just depends on what your palate is. And if you go to the right places, if you find the kitchens with the Afro-Colombians in them, then you are set.
Which takes me back to my point, the Colombian food versus other food. If you go, I feel like in Cali or even on the coast anywhere, you can get some really good Colombian food. But I think if you try to get that same food here, you'll be disappointed. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people do. They'll go to Cartagena and get fish and then come here and they're like, oh, this is bland. It's like,
completely different.
Don't eat it here. Eat it on the coast.
Yeah. So if you're looking for that fully flavorful, like just everything that's giving, go to
the coast.
Yeah,
or
go
at
to
least
the
Cali,
coast.
If you want a city.
Or where the Afro-Colombians are.
Yeah.
But what about restaurants where they're serving other types of food, whether it be Western
international cuisine?
Yeah.
I think there's a pretty good variety. There's certain cuisines I won't mess with down here. Like I'm very hesitant with Mexican food. And I think that goes to say how we were saying like it's blander or like you can't expect the same flavors. So like I know going into wanting Mexican, it's been very miss for me, but I know it's just hit or miss out here. Yeah. And then there's certain like Asian cuisines too, like Chinese food I won't do Chinese food, but I'll do like sushi. There's so much sushi here.
There's so much sushi, but you also have to know. Listen,
you gotta know the places.
Yeah,
you gotta know which places to get sushi from.
Don't eat it unless you get recommended to that restaurant. And if you get recommended and it's not a good restaurant, the person didn't like you.
that person's not your friend.
Not your friend. Not your friend.
That's hilarious.
But like you said, there is a variety. I can't say there's any Caribbean food. I think one person has started in Jamaica.
Oh yeah,
but
he left.
Oh no.
He's not even here. I think he's in Peru right now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So there's not.
But he was never he was in Medellin, but he lives in Cali. He was living in Cali. Yeah.
So
in Medellin though, it's
no. Don't expect no jerk chicken unless you go to San Andreas. Apparently, there's stuff there,
there's
but
Kingston jerk chicken. I think is what it's called.
But that's a whole other island.
That's a flight.
Yeah. So I would say in terms of international cuisine, there's definitely American food, burgers, hot dogs, pizza. If that's American.
There's Italian. They love pasta out here.
Yes, they do, and cheese.
Everything has cheese on it.
But it's not the same like American cheese or European cheese. It's their own cheese, and again, it's just healthier, fresher.
It is like lighter almost.
Yes.
In a sense. It doesn't affect you in the same way cheese back home will.
Yeah. And you can get lots of different South American, Peruvian, Venezuelan. I've had a Venezuelan here that was really good.
Yes. I think there's some Brazilian places.
Yeah, Brazilian, Mexican. But then when it comes to, if you're talking like West African, East African, anything in Africa, I haven't seen anything like no Ethiopian, no Egyptian,
and I wouldn't expect it here either, just because of again how we talked about flavors, but also spices. There's not a lot of spicy stuff out here. Yeah. There is couple Indian places that they get spicy.
Yeah,
the curry lunch could get a little spicy, but that's it. Like it's hard to find spice out here. Even hot wings, they'll be like, oh, the hot is hot, and you're like, hot where?
It's my kind of country, y'all. It's my kind of country.
Where?
They don't do spicy or pepper or just hot. It's not in their cuisine. And you know what? I'm done with that.
I have mixed feelings about it. Every now and then I like a little kick, you know. If you're like me, bring hot sauce.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta bring your own hot sauce. Just know, pro tip from us to you: bring your own hot sauce if you like hot sauce. Bring it for your bag. You know how Beyonce said what she said? She said something about
Tabasco in her bag or something like that.
Yeah. That's what you have to do. Follow Beyonce. Hey.
You can thank us later.
Any other tips with food, I guess, that we would suggest?
Tips with food.
Yeah.
I don't know about tips. I can name some things that I love. Like foods that I love. I like buñuelos.
Okay.
They're so good.
Tough for you to try.
It is cheese.
It is cheese.
Which is surprising because I'm not a big cheese fan. But it's basically like a fried dough ball. And in the inside it has mozzarella. But sometimes it can have chocolate. Sometimes it can have arequipe. Okay. You just never know. They're so good. They're so good.
Desserts and coffee are very, very popular here. In Medellin.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a Latin thing in general. To just go and get coffee with somebody. Yeah. And they do it a lot with the pastries and the desserts.
Yeah. And pastries, yes. Pastries, desserts, and coffee.
Delicious.
Hot chocolate, also very popular. All right. What areas would you recommend a first-timer to live in? I can honestly... Oh, you're supposed to answer.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I can really only speak on Medellin, and what I know that most people start out in is, majority of people start out in Poblado. It is a very touristy area, definitely where the bars, the restaurants, the parties, the hostels, everything is here in Poblado. So as a tourist, I've met so many people who've never been to Colombia. Boom, everybody's like, Poblado. So Poblado, and then Laureles is a second place. That's where I live, and that's more local in a sense. It does have restaurants, it does have bars, but it's like the suburbs of Poblado. That's how I describe it. However, Laureles is flat, so you can't really see the views. Poblado is on a
multiple hills.
Mountain. So you get to see such nice views. However, there are other places that you can live in. I don't know if you have any that you could recommend, that you would recommend?
Other areas I've lived in, I didn't enjoy them as much.
Oh, really?
Not if your first time coming here. I don't think that would be a good first time experience. Yeah, because it was almost as if it was like too local. I do think having a mix would be good for someone who's coming here for the first time.
That's true. Yeah. That's very, very true.
Yeah. I've always liked Poblado though. I've always liked Poblado. I like the views. If you're someone who loves to just look out your balcony window and see the views. Poblado's it.
Poblado is the place.
But I like Laureles too. That's where I'm living now. It is flat. Like I do like it. I don't walk as much, I feel like, there.
In Laureles?
Yeah, you're gonna be surprised to hear this. I don't walk as much in Laureles as I do in Poblado. But it's because how much more centric Poblado was to everything. So like I would get up, I would walk to the gym. On the way back, I'd hit the grocery store. Then I'd go home and it'd be like, oh, I can grab lunch. It's right up the street, the place that I want to go to. Or like I'll have 5 or 6 different options I can go to. And then there'll be a cafe right up the street. All I did was ever walk to cafes to work. So I really was constantly walking in Poblado just because I think everything was just so centric. A lot of things are very centric in Poblado. Versus Laureles is flatter, but I was likely going to walk 10 or 15 minutes to get there, so I take a moto. I take the motos more in Laureles. I don't know what it is.
She said walk 10 or 15 minutes, I have to take a moto. What?
Because I feel like in Poblado, things would be like on the way. Like, I'm already going that way. I can stop and do this, and I can do this. It made more sense to walk versus like all I'm doing is walking straight to this cafe. I'm hungry. I'm gonna just hop on a motorway and go to the cafe.
Okay, y'all. That's Ariana's experience.
I can't
relate. I walk to my grocery store, and then I'm like, the cafe is right there, and and I personally, I enjoy 10 to 15 to 20 minute walks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this works. I get my exercise, and I get to take things off of my list.
Yeah, I think it's me. Listen to her. You can walk anywhere in London.
And she knows Poblado quite well.
I do, well, and okay, that might be it too. Yeah. I get lost so easily in Laureles. I don't care how many times I stare at the map. It's because there's so many little streets that all look the same.
Yes, that's true.
And like in Poblado, every street has its own distinct. I feel like its own distinct characteristics where it's like, oh, okay, I know where I am. But I get lost all the time in Laureles. I'll go for a 10-minute walk and it'll be 30 minutes later.
She's the best. Okay, so that's for first timers. So where would you suggest that people, maybe if you've been in the country for like 3 months, like where could you branch out to? Because these places are also more expensive. And that's because people like us or foreigners are moving in and doing that. That's a whole other story. So also be mindful of the prices that you're paying.
That's a good point.
But yeah, so if you were like a little bit seasoned, you're like, okay, I've had enough of the hostel goers every night. Where could I possibly move to?
Are we saying still in Medellin?
Still in Medellin.
So I've only ever lived in Guayabal. Was another place I stayed in. Okay. I've heard good things about Sabaneta.
Yes. It's a little bit further out.
It's further out
city.
So I think you have to take that into account.
Yeah. But you can get Poblado views and a little bit more greenery, but it's just like 30 minutes out.
Just 30 minutes. But it could just be 30 with the metro. I feel like it's a lot faster. Yeah. That is one thing getting around here with the traffic. So if you are staying out somewhere further like Sabaneta, you'll want to take into account how you'll be getting to and from everywhere. Ubers are really cheap and affordable. So where we mentioned motos, there's another app here called Didi. You can get a motorcycle and hop on the back of one of those. But I think the metro might actually be the fastest if you just time it right because you're not dealing with traffic.
Yeah, and just don't go during rush hour for the metro.
Yeah. Be packed in there like sardines.
Yes. So there's Sabaneta. Envigado is another good one. That's next door to Poblado.
I haven't lived out there either.
I haven't lived
I've
there
heard good
either.
things though.
Yeah. I haven't lived in these places, but y'all can test it out. See how
we should go visit Envigado one day. Like just do a video out there.
Okay. I mean, there's a mall. There are malls everywhere, by the way.
Oh yeah. A whole nother story.
Yes. Okay, so that's it. So what areas were the first time I lived? And then...
Okay. So what is the best way to connect with other people? Ideally English speakers. Why are you trying to talk to English speakers?
Don't come here trying to...
Come here to learn Spanish.
She says that we both made friends and we're both English speakers.
Yes, but I'll even talk to her some days only in Spanish. We got to practice. See. No, I mean, I don't think you'll have a problem connecting with other English speakers out here. Clearly, there's so many of us, and so many nomads and people just traveling and visiting that are out here. You'll find a lot of English speakers. And if not, you'll find people that don't speak English but really want to and will work with you to speak English so you guys can find some kind of common ground with signing and using whatever words you know in each other's language.
I was also going to suggest there are lots of co-working spaces in certain areas.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you'll find just as many Colombians there as you will foreigners, but just go up and be like, hey, I'm new here. Do you know English? And kind of go from there. There are also language exchanges that happen.
I was going to mention those,
Yes, at different locations every single day. There's like 5 in different spots at language schools. Language schools is a good way to go and meet new people, but also learn Spanish.
Yeah.
And anywhere else?
I think those are all good ones. I would emphasize the language exchanges for
Yes.
sure, because it's kind of guaranteed the people there are at least trying to learn English. So if that's what you're looking for, to find English speakers, you'll find them there.
Trying to learn Spanish. You said English.
No, Spanish speakers here.
Oh,
Colombians trying to learn English.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also gonna say, whenever you meet somebody who's kind of been here for a little while, ask them about the WhatsApp groups. Let me tell you, I did not know WhatsApp had so much capabilities until I came here to Medellin. There's a group for everything. There's a group for hiking. There's a group for probably dog lovers, probably chocolate lovers, English speakers, French people living in Medellin. Salsa dancing, just horseback riding, everything have a WhatsApp group. And that group is probably going to be filled with, again, a good mix of Colombians and foreigners who speak another language and maybe English. So that's definitely a great way of meeting people in general, and then just meeting people who might speak your language, so that you can have somebody to talk to, because everybody else around you, you will be making Colombian friends who speak Spanish. I'm putting that out there into the air for you. Yes.
All right.
Lastly, how's the Wi-Fi? Now, I have no complaints about the Wi-Fi. I come from a country where the Wi-Fi, listen, I'm going to struggle and cry when I go back home. No offense to my island. But the Wi-Fi, I think, is very good. The only time I have maybe minor struggles is maybe when it rains. And I remember my roommate telling me that. Maybe that's just my apartment. But I found the Wi-Fi to be very good. I work with uploading videos. My video uploads like in good time. The stuff, you never really have to, when you see the blue bar like going up when you're loading something, it doesn't struggle to go across. How about that?
The struggle bar.
The struggle bar. I don't know. You work at a lot more cafes than I do. So how would you say?
Yeah, I think overall, generally, the Wi-Fi is pretty good in most of the cafes. There are some where it's like hit or miss, but I feel like people will complain enough. Well, eventually they do something to fix it. So overall, I would say I've lived in a lot of different places around the city, and the internet has been pretty good.
Okay. And that's also specific to Medellin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be different in other cities. I can't speak for the others, to be honest.
I want to say the hotter it gets, the more of a chance there is that the Wi-Fi won't be as strong as you want it to be. Like, definitely when you go towards the coastal cities. And it's not even so much the Wi-Fi as it is that sometimes their power will go out, or like stuff just gets hot, and like I don't know if that just makes it slower. I don't know, but it just, if you're going further out into the coast, definitely check with someone who lives there or who has visited there if you want to know about the Wi-Fi. It can vary.
Okay, any other questions? I think you had a question from somebody.
I did have one. It's on my phone now, so let me see if I can remember what it was.
I know. It was, did you feel anxious before coming?
Just say the question if you
because I thought that you were I thought I was going to bounce back into your memory. Okay, so the question is, were you feeling anxious before you moved? And I guess, how did you cope with that?
Yeah. I think I felt, I don't know, I had a delayed anxious reaction or anxiety towards leaving. I felt like I was so, because when I was leaving to pack everything up and like leave. So I was so focused on getting everything organized and together. Yes. It didn't hit me till like, I don't know, maybe a night or two before I moved out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving the country and I'm going to a whole other country where not only do I not know anyone, but I was not born speaking the language that they speak there. I think that anxiety is normal. I think I felt it again right as the plane touched down when I got to Cali for my first stop in Colombia. But I mean, I've always associated that feeling with you're doing something good, like you're doing something that's scary to you. You're living life, so yeah, the anxiety is expected.
Yeah.
And I don't know about managing it. Usually you're too excited where it manages itself, but I don't know.
So many other things. I what do you call it? Suppress it.
Oh,
it's not good. But I try not to even give any time, effort, or energy into doing that. I tend to overthink a lot. So if I was to do that, I'll probably just think of a bunch of different things and then freak myself out. So I kind of just park it to the side. And like Ariana said, there's so many other things going on. You're moving, you're packing, you're wondering, is your bag going to be overweight? What's it going to be like? How am I going to get from the airport to this and that? So there's just so many other things where I'm just like, I can't even focus on that. And then by the time you realize that you did what you did, it's been a month and you're like, too late to stress about that now.
We're here now. No, that's a good point. I think, a little small plug here, that's why I make travel guides for people that are traveling for the first time. It takes care of having to think through all the things you need to think about before you go, and you kind of just have it all there in one handy list. So if you are considering coming to Colombia anytime soon, I do have a travel guide for Cartagena and soon one for Medellin. So be sure to follow along and visit shopthewanderbox.com to check them out.
Yes, and for somebody like me, I'm going to be getting one of her guides to test it out because it would save me so much mental space. So much mental space. And guarantee you a great time. So I'm trying to think, do you have any other tips that you would just share with anybody? Or so I was gonna say, to disclaimer, that this video, we're sharing our experiences about living here in Medellin. It does not apply to all of Colombia unless we specifically mentioned that Colombia is a gigantic country. And I mean, it's like talking about what it's like living in New York City in the USA when you really want to know about what it's like living in Florida.
Yes.
You're going to have to find something out there that speaks about that other city, Bogota, Cali, wherever else, because there's so much variety here.
That's so crazy. It's like you're in my head. Because my tip was going to be when you come to Medellin, try to visit other places in Colombia to give you a better perspective of it overall.
Of the whole country. Yes. 100%. Sorry.
No. It's like you already knew. Like, disclaimer, and here's your tip.
Yeah. Yes, that's one tip. Another tip, I don't know, just be open-minded. Please make an effort to meet Colombians. You're going to have a completely different experience.
Speak Spanish.
Yes. Speak Spanish. You're going to have a completely different experience when you meet Colombians. You're going to be going to places and seeing different things than you would by just, I don't know, following TripAdvisor or whatever else it is. So make an effort to speak Spanish. Make an effort to meet Colombians. Such nice people. Such nice people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And also to piggyback off of being open, I think you should, if you're coming here for a couple of weeks, keep your schedule open. A lot of people find that they come here and they meet people and like, you never know where your trip could go. So yeah, keep an open mind, but also keep your schedule flexible. And
if you're working from home, I mean, you really only have the weekends to explore. So maybe try to tack on a week or two of free time because there's so much to do and so much to explore. Yeah. All right. So if you have more questions, we are content creators and we are trying our best to hustle and make our way through. So definitely, if you want to sit down and have some time with us to chat, buy us a coffee. We will provide the link down below.
Yes, what'd she say? If you have any questions about any of the places we've been to, about our experience going places, we'd love to have a virtual meet and greet, if you will. So be sure to check out the link below if you're interested, and you can book your time slot to set up a time for us to chat. Yes.
Okay, yay! That was great. Thank you all so much for asking these questions and for providing us and just allowing us to do this video.
And if you have more questions, you can also drop them down below.
Yes, actually. And maybe we'll do another video. Or we'll do or y'all can buy us 2 coffees. Who knows? All right, y'all. Until next time. Bye.
Peace. Yay, we did it. Pause. Do you want to slide? Do you see how you're angled in here? I don't know if you were good with that.
I mean, at this point.
I see it. I mean, you can move. You're not a robot.
No, but then it'll interrupt these clips.
No, just like closer to me.
But the angle.
Yes, we will look like you moved in the next shot, but it's okay. We can move.
Welcome to the channel. Colombo Gyal and Adiventuras.
Colombo Gyal and Adiventuras.
I love that. Okay.
Ouch.
Oh my, did you hurt yourself?
Yeah, I did. It's okay.
Oh no, sis.
It's okay.
Oh no.
Water break.
Oh yeah, good point.
Mm.
Wait, we should cheers.
Mm. Cheers. Mm. Are you supposed to cheers water?
Mm.
Hydrate yourself.